Hey everyone, welcome back to the Widowed Parent Podcast Live. I'm here this afternoon with Brennan Wood from the Dougy Center. Brennan, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, Jenny. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, of course. Well, and I love talking with you and Jana way back in, I don't know, earlier this year on my
Yeah,
show. And then, of course, I would talk to Jana on your show as well. So I'll ask you about your podcast in a few minutes. But anyway, it's great to see you again.
good to
Um,
see you too.
so tell us, first of all, where are you located?
Yeah, so the Dougy Center is located in Portland, Oregon, and we have three sites here around the greater Portland metro region. And of course, our resources are disseminated nationally and internationally. But we are primarily headquartered in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we'll almost probably talk about this in two parts because you do have your local programming, which I want to hear all about, and you have quite a lot of information which is available to anyone, anywhere. And you guys have been by one of the biggest pioneers, I suppose, and longest running grief centers. You've really been doing this for a long time, which is terrific. And I know a lot of other centers have learned from you guys and been able to implement things in their community. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's start with your local programs because you are in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So tell
Yes.
us, what kind of programs do you have there?
Yeah, so our primary direct programming is peer support groups for grieving children, teens, young adults, and their family members. So prior to the COVID-19 global pandemic, we were serving about 1,000 people in-person groups every month.
Wow.
So about 550, yeah, 550 kids, teens, young adults, and then about 425 adult family members. So that was our primary mode of interaction with families was through those peer-to-peer support groups.
Hmm.
And then when the COVID pandemic hit, we did transition to a virtual environment. And so in virtual support groups, we've served over 600 people through virtual support groups. So, and then to all of our families, those that transitioned to virtual and those that chose not to, we provide biweekly support resources. So, we send out emails and text messages and phone calls to all of those folks with resources and hopefully things that they find supporting and comforting.
Uh-huh. Terrific.
Yeah.
So what age group, you mentioned kids, teenagers, etc. What age groups are we talking about?
Yeah, so our all of our support starts at age 3.
Okay.
And we are doing virtual support groups that are short and and not in short in time,
Uh-huh.
starting at age 3 right now. But so all of our supports start at age 3, and then they go to 18 for our teen groups,
Hmm.
and then we have young adult support groups for 19 to 25-ish and 25-ish to 40-ish. And then all of the kids and teens groups, the adult who cares for them, whether that be a biological parent, an adoptive parent, aunt, uncle, friend, in anything, foster parent, we provide support to those adult caregivers as well, concurrent with their child's group.
Ah, okay. Okay. At the same time. So that's terrific. So let's and back before the pandemic, because presumably we'll get back to this someday, normal times.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what a group session or day looks like.
Yeah. So at the Dougy Center, all of our groups are ongoing. So there's no beginning and no end. Kids can stay in the program as long as they need to be in the program because, as you well know, as we well know, grief is not a 6-week program. You can't check off some boxes and be done with it. And so kids and families can stay in the program as long as they need to be here. And prior to the pandemic, what that looked like was an every other week schedule of an in-person support group. So
Mm.
they would come every other week for an hour and a half. And our groups are divided by age and who died. And then also some of our groups, we are able to also divide by how they died so that kids and families can be together with other kids and families who've had a very similar experience.
Ah, okay. Terrific. Terrific.
Yeah.
And how about any sort of cost for participating in your groups?
Yeah, so all of our services are provided free of charge to families.
Hmm.
So there's no cost. We don't charge at all. There's no sliding scale. There's no insurance reimbursement. It's a free program,
Mm.
and we offer that for a lot of reasons. But one of the primary reasons is just that about 36% of Dougy Center families are living at or below the federal poverty level. 90 to 95% of our families will self-report some sort of financial insecurity or instability around the death. And so really trying to make our resources as accessible as possible. We do offer an opportunity for families to give a donation if they'd like to, but it's no cost.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, great. So it sounds like you have lots of great, for people who live in the Portland area, local programs that you will return to someday when the pandemic is over. Plus, right now, virtual support is continuing, so people shouldn't hesitate to call and get signed up if they have a need
Exactly.
right now. Yeah, okay, terrific.
Yeah.
So separately from what you're doing in Portland, you have,
Mhm.
maybe I put them in two categories, some global resources. First, tell us about your website.
Yeah, well, our website is available, and it does have a ton of resources on it. What I will share, Jenny, I'm super excited to share that we are in the process of creating a new website, that the goal is to launch at the end of this calendar year, potentially
Mm,
right at the beginning of next calendar year.
uh-huh.
And that will be, it will still have all those great resources and hopefully more, as well as hopefully they'll be more easily accessed on our website. Right now, they can be a little tough to find, but we have a ton of tip sheets, which are 2 to 4 pages of information about a specific topic. And if someone wanted to go to our website and click on tip sheets, they could access that whole library of resources. We have videos and books available through our bookstore. We have just a whole plethora of resources for grieving families.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, and the tip sheets and stuff, these are free downloads people can just immediately get right from your website. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people, I've heard a lot of people reference how great your online resources are and sending people there to find tip sheets on this topic or that topic or different things. So I'd encourage people to go check that out and not think, oh, I'm not in Oregon, so it's not for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's one of the exciting things about the new website, which I'll definitely let you know when it's live, so you can tell folks about that. But
Yeah, for sure.
it is really catered towards people easily accessing all of those resources,
Hmm.
based on topics. And so there'll be search features, and it's just going to be a lot easier for people to get in touch with those free downloadable
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah, good. Well, I should say this is in fact how I first heard about the Dougy Center myself. Because when my own husband was sick and then died, our school sent out some information to the parents, and they were tip sheets from the Dougy Center. So,
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
Yeah.
terrific. Okay, and I also want to ask you about the other big resource you have that's for anybody anywhere, which is of course your podcast. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so our Grief Out Loud podcast has been downloaded. I think at this point it's over 450,000 times
Wow.
across the world.
Yeah.
And it's a great free resource for folks as well. And it's available where anyone listens to podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Grief Out Loud. And of course, Jenny, you've been on it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a really wonderful resource, and lots of stories about lived experience, and opportunities to learn about different aspects of grief and loss. So
Mm-hmm.
really just encourage folks to go check out our Grief Out Loud podcast as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I highly recommend that. And I think you have 100 and maybe approaching 200 episodes now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close to that.
Yeah, yeah, which
Yeah.
is great. And I know you guys cover grief from a lot of different perspectives and angles and elements, and just like a different guest each time with their own story and different information, and really comprehensive. I'd say if you sit there and want to binge listen to a whole bunch of them, you'll get a lot of great information from that.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about any technical difficulties happening on my end. I apologize. I've got things going through.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Well,
Yeah,
of
no,
course we're
it's
as we're talking, we're still in the pandemic, and Zoom and networking and everything is can be challenging. So I'm just glad that you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah, yeah. One more thing I forgot to ask about back to your local programming. I know you have kind of
Yeah.
a unique program for families facing advanced serious illness. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it is a unique program. And when we were starting that program, we definitely reached out across the country to find, and network with other people doing similar work. And it was hard, challenging to find that. So it is a program for families facing living with really an advanced serious illness. So when a family member has been diagnosed with, say, a stage 4 cancer diagnosis or an ALS diagnosis, or end stage heart failure, those types of sicknesses, we offer a program called the Pathways Program. And it is also right now virtual as well. And it is unique in that the kids come together with each other, the teens come together with each other, and then the adult caregiver, whoever's kind of helping to care for the family, comes together to get support from other people who are caregivers. And then the person with the illness also, it can come together with the other people who have illnesses. And so they really, break off into these groups and provide support to one another, when facing really very similar circumstances. Of course, grief is always unique for each individual, and we know that, but ultimately we definitely believe that oftentimes people who come together can really find support when circumstances are similar.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then I suppose some of those families may eventually transition into your other programs.
Yeah, we have found that many do. Many take a break in between the Pathways program and our traditional bereavement support programs, but many go right in from one into the other. And we have really gotten just incredible feedback from families saying how much it helped them through that time, because it's just such a challenging time.
Mm-hmm. Terrific.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
yeah.
Okay, well, I think we could probably keep talking all day about the good work you guys are doing, but we do need to wrap it up here. So I want to ask you, where can people find your podcast, your Dougy Center online resources, your information about your local groups? Where can people find the Dougy Center?
Yeah, so the best place right now is on our website, which is Dougy, Dougy.org. That's the best place. But of course, through social media, we're on Facebook and put all of our resources onto Facebook as well, and Instagram and Twitter. We have a YouTube channel that has a lot of valuable videos on it. So really anywhere you access information, but our website is a great place to start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dougy.org. Okay,
yeah,
terrific. Well,
yeah.
Brennan, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Absolutely, Jenny. Can I put in one more little plug for something here?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to share that on Facebook we are doing a virtual candle lighting this coming Friday in honor of Children's Grief Awareness Month,
Oh, good.
and it's at 5:30 Pacific. And anyone is welcome to join us for that. It'll just be about a 15-minute program, and anyone who's interested in that can join us for that virtual candle lighting.
Oh, good. All right, thank you for telling us about that, and I'll be sure to share that on social media as well.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Jenny.
All right, thank you, Brennan.